what Don Lemon did, in my humble opinion, is totally irresponsible. I mean, it's unbelievable to me that CNN allowed him to go on the air last night after saying what he said. Now we 15 minutes ago, we played a bit. We know we have listeners in and out of the show. People that listen in the 6 o'clock hour may not be able to listen in the 7 o'clock hour, and people in the 7 o'clock hour may not be listening. But I think what Don Lemon said, once again, is inexcusable and irresponsible, and it does fan the flames of racial division. I mean, if you want to go down the road of dividing the country, I mean, we segregate ourselves anyway. I mean, we do that. People who think a certain way tend to gravitate towards those same sorts of people. People who look a certain way tend to gravitate. I mean, that's just the way we are. And look, that's not racial stereotyping. That's not, painting with a broad. That's just reality. Now, we live in such a politically correct era that reality sometimes offends people. I don't give a rat's rear end. I don't. I mean, I could care less what offends anybody that listens to this show, because I know in my heart I don't set out to offend anybody. I don't set out to embarrass nor point fingers at any one group of people or another. Facts are stubborn things. And I think what Don Lemon needs to do is stop with the hyperbole and be more responsible if he wants to be a healer. Now, he's got no interest. I mean, he hates Trump, and he wants to blame Trump for everything, and he's on a network that hates Trump, and they want to blame Trump for everything. So when we talk about the nut job who sent the bombs to Democrats, that's all about Trump and the angry white man. When the angry white man walks into the Jewish synagogue and, just slaughters innocent people. I mean, that doesn't matter to me if it's white, black, Republican, Democrat. Those are crazy, evil people doing crazy and evil things. And I don't need to go down the road of racial overtones. I'm just not going down that road. But Don Lemon opened the door and asked for it. And all I'll do is stand by my comment from previous. If you want to cause a lot of problems in this country, you keep allowing people like Don Lemon to say what he said the night before last. And once again, go back on the air last night with his own TV show. And CNN has issued no apology, no nothing. So if you don't mind, for the sake of our new listeners, let's play that one more time, because to me, it's one of the most unbelievable comments I've ever heard a pundit say on television.
It's not just the bomber. There was another hate-filled criminal just last week in Kentucky. Another white man, history of violence, custody for shooting and killing 2 African Americans at a grocery store, Kroger's. But what he tried to do was barge into a predominantly black church. He failed. And then he picked a secondary target. He's being investigated for hate crimes. Don Lemon is here right now. We barely had time to cover it because we were distracted by another extremist that was doing bad things in the name of hate.
Yeah, and then now another one. And you have all of them in a row. And, we messaged about this a little bit this weekend. I keep trying to point out to people not to demonize any one group or any one ethnicity, but we keep thinking that the biggest terror threat is something else. Some people who are marching, towards the border like it's imminent. And when the last time they did this, a couple hundred people came, and they, most did get into the country. Most of them got tuckered out before they even made it to the border. So we have to stop demonizing people and realize the biggest terror threat in this country is white men, most of them radicalized to the right. And we have to start doing something about them. There is no travel ban on them. There's no ban on, they have the Muslim ban. There is no white guy ban. So what do we do about that?
That's completely irresponsible. I mean, that's you really, as someone who sits and tries to be objective as to why someone says something. I mean, I get the incendiary. I mean, the sensationalism, the hyperbole. I mean, that's what news and entertainment has become. It's not factual. Let me tell Don Lemon, if you don't mind, let a good old boy from Pamplico set Don Lemon straight, because facts are stubborn things. I mean, Don Lemon said the biggest threat to America today is the angry white guy. I mean, that's what he said. The biggest threat to America today is not a march of migrants to the border. It's not ISIS. It's not gun violence in Chicago. The biggest threat to America today is the angry white guy. African Americans make up 12% of America's population, about 45 million African Americans in this country. They committed 53% of the murders. I hate to make this about race, Reb, but he just did because he said angry white men are the biggest threat in America today. Let me restate this number. There are 45 million African Americans in this country. That's 12% of our population. They committed 53% of the murders. There are 200 million white Americans, make up 62% of the population. They committed 30% of the violent murders. I would say put that in your pipe and smoke it, Don Lemon, but that's him. I mean, that doesn't make any sense either. That would be as hyperbolic as what he has said. The inexcusable part of this is Don Lemon was allowed to go on a television show last night after saying that 2 nights ago. That's how irresponsible CNN is. That's how out of touch with reality CNN is. That's how full of hate and animosity toward Trump and anybody that supports Trump they are. They are blinded by their vitriol and hatred of you and I. That's who they're mad with. They believe that you and I are the angry white guy. Well, you damn right I'm angry when Don Lemon says something like that. You better believe I get angry when Don Lemon takes the angry white man and says and tries to legitimize the statement that we are the biggest threat to America. No, we're not, because facts are stubborn things. Once again, I want to give you these numbers, and then we'll move to the next call, because I want to be real careful not to go far down that road. 45 million African Americans, 12% of our population, committed 53% of the murders. 200 million white Americans, 62% of the population, committed 30% of the murders.